Guys, we are here at Buescher State Park. I did confirm it's pronounced Buescher, not Buescher, not Buescher, which is what I've called it my whole life. Let's have some fun. Buescher State Park. This is a nice one, folks. A shade under 1,017 acres, this region is classified as post-oak savanna. We're in Smithville, Texas, near the center of the state, roughly 40 miles southeast of Austin. Between 1933 and 1938, 636 acres of land was donated by Mr. and Mrs. Emil and Elizabeth Buescher. Does anyone even do that anymore? Anyway, from 1933 to 1939, Civilian Conservation Corps Companies 1805 and 1811 developed and built this park along with its next-door neighbor, Bastrop State Park. Local materials of rough stone and timber were utilized to create the rustic look of the facilities and the buildings, which of course complement and harmonize with the surrounding rolling hills and pine trees. Included in the planning and development was Scenic Park Road 1, which connects the two parks. Incidentally, since we're staying at Buescher, we're also granted free entry into Bastrop State Park. And that works the other way around too. Keep in mind though, it's just for entry into the neighboring park, so don't expect to go there and start setting up a campsite or anything like that. Now, regrettably, I didn't do much homework on Smithville, Texas, so I apologize for that. However, I did enough research to discover that in this town, there exists a Dairy Queen, which we plan on touring later. Buescher State Park is not what I would consider one of the more popular state parks in Texas. Now, I don't mean that in a negative way at all, just the opposite, in fact. There's something to be said about the peacefulness and semi-solitude of a park that's not constantly crowded. Personally, I don't mind it either way. Mrs. Switchback and I really do like meeting people. But if you're looking for a place to kick back and relax, Buescher is the place for you. What a beautiful morning. Alright folks, we are in campsite 19. This is a nice one. Personally, I think this is the nicest one on this loop here. It's not too small, it's not too big. Very cozy, very private. Got your fire pit. Wooden picnic table on a concrete slab. I strung up some lights here in the trees. But yeah, this is a very nice campsite. Very long. You have your standard 20, 30 amp hookup. There is a slope though. It does slope pretty dramatically, so I had to bring the nose down almost to the ground just to get it level. From side to side, however, it is perfect. I slept a little bit later than I normally would have, only because Cooper, the mountain lion, decided to explore all night in the camper. So, yeah, a little bit lack of sleep there. Of course, he's sleeping now. Yep, there's Cooper. Up all night, the tiger. According to Google Maps, the lake was right behind our campsite. I was determined to get there, but man, these are some deep woods. Hopefully I won't fall down. although that would make for some good content. Yeah, I can see the lake. Just not sure how to get to it. Now let me try to get back to the camper. I'd like to give a shout out to Camping Texan. Go look at his YouTube page. He does fantastic content on Texas state parks, and as of late, some of the COE parks also. And this is the site that he stayed in probably over a year ago, I guess, and that's what got me looking around at the different sites here to see which one would be the best, and I think I got it. Thanks, Camping Texan. Chris the Camping Texan. This is the bathhouse for the Oak Haven Loop. Now I know what you're thinking. You have a trailer with a shower. Why don't you use it? Well, Mrs. Switchback does. I've always used the bathrooms at state parks for water conservation, and in this case, convenience. It's right across from our campsite. Now, I will say that these bathrooms are a little dated, which isn't that big of a deal for me. However, there is absolutely zero ventilation in these bathrooms, none at all. And in this 100-degree heat, it is very much missed. Let me put it to you like this. Only in Texas is it possible to shower and perspire simultaneously. There are two camping loops that accommodate RVs and travel trailers. What we're seeing here is the Oak Haven loop where we're set up. All of the sites here have water and electric, no sewer. The Oak Haven loop is the older of the two camping loops. The other, the Cozy Circle camping loop, we'll take a look at later. That loop in particular is built and sort of geared towards larger RVs, motorhomes, travel trailers. I think our campsite is awesome. Our it's on the level of Goose Island. I thought Goose Island State Park was the best campsite I stayed in, and I'm probably still going to say that it is. But this one here that we're in, Site 19, I've looked at every other site here in this park, and I have to say I think 19 is the best. We got lucky. And again, that credit goes to Camping Texan. Chris the Camping Texan, go check out his YouTube channel. I saw his Buescher State Park video, and he stayed in 19. That's how I got the idea. I'm glad we did. The sites here, they have short pads. A lot of them are made for maybe tent camping or even van camping. I've seen a little casita. Something over, I don't know, I'd say 20 feet long. You're going to be a bit more limited. Our trailer is 25 feet 8 inches. We fit into Site 19 beautifully. Don't have an RV? Don't feel like sleeping in a tent? Oak Haven Loop also has 3 air-conditioned cabins. Now, we're not talking about a big rustic log cabin with a fireplace and a jacuzzi. We're camping, right? This will do just fine. 4 cots and a little kitchenette. Did I mention air conditioning? Nice little back porch with a view. Sorry, Coop. Not only with these cabins, but with all campsites, max capacity is 8. Someone was happy though. I won't mention any names, but in our very immediate future, we have a little shopping excursion planned. I would have been all over this thing. Yeah, kind of watch out for this though in the heat of summer if you're wearing shorts. At least it's not metal. Those are always fun. Those are always fun for leaving a few layers of flesh behind on the metal in the full heat of the Texas blast. We're here in the Cozy Circle camping loop, which again is suitable for larger rigs. It doesn't have the same privacy as our loop, but I like it. I would stay here. Like I said before, we don't mind meeting neighbors. Water and electric only, no sewer, but the park dump station is right at the entrance of this loop. All of these campsites are very, very well tended to, so a big shout out to the park host, who happens to be over in our loop. Let's go check out the shelters. If you don't want to stay in a tent, the screen shelters are another option, which is basically like a tent that's hard. You got plenty of space in here. Picnic table. Plenty of room for cots, sleeping bags, tables, chairs. Whatever you need, you can fit it in here. You have lights, a 110 outlet. It's pretty cool. I will say this though, if I ever book this for Mrs. Switchback and myself, I can pretty much guarantee that I'll be in here and she'll be at a La Quinta up the road, or most likely back home. Now, in my opinion, the biggest benefit with this shelter here is the water access, which is kind of what I thought the back of my site was like. But as you saw earlier, it isn't. Google Maps, man. Oh yeah, put a couple of chairs out here, kick back and just fish to your heart's content. In fact, I think I know what time it is. I think it's time for me to do what I was born to do. Fish. Let's see what Mrs. Switchback thinks. Okay, so we're going shopping. There's a place nearby in the town of Bastrop. I understand it has magical powers. Apparently, it sucks you right in. No matter which direction you're going, if you fall within about 50 miles, you're drawn to it like a magnet. In Star Wars, I think it's called being caught in a tractor beam. And it's impossible to escape its grasp once it has a hold of you. That's right. I'm talking about Buc-ee's. People come here to get gasoline. I suggested to Mrs. Switchback that we could just fuel up at the tiny little gas station across the street if we needed to. So, here we are at Buc-ee's. I have to say, it's pretty cool though. In addition to fuel, they sell, well, jerky, po' boys, snacks, trinkets, camping equipment, deer feeders, home decor, etc., etc. They sell just about everything here. I'll bet if you looked hard enough, you could probably find like a rocket ship. I didn't film the inside because this video would be about 47 hours long if I did. I would give you a little bit of a history about it, but why? Who cares? I mean, look at this place. It's amazing. I even discovered I had a long-lost twin brother. We decided to check out Bastrop. This is the quiet, quintessential Texas small town. Historic district, main street, shops, restaurants. Surrounded by loblolly pines and the Colorado River, this is a gorgeous little community. We're about 10 miles from Buescher State Park. We're about 30 miles southeast of Austin. I'll do a lot more in-depth look at this area in a later video because we're actually going to be coming back here in December. We are here at the Red Apple Smoke Shop for those of you that are Tarantino fans like me. We don't smoke, but I thought that was kind of worth a shot. I decided to do a quick drive-through at Bastrop State Park and take advantage of my free entry. This is a phenomenally beautiful state park in an unlikely geographical location. This park's history is rich, both in the distant as well as in the more recent past. Again, I won't do a deep dive into it right now because we'll be doing a 3-nighter here in December. This is another park, though, that has a deep personal connection, and I'll really get into it then. What I really wanted to do right now was get back to Buescher and get a hook in the water. And once again, I wanted to do what I was born to do. We caught nothing. Zero. Nada.
Zilch.
Zilch. Let's check out the CCC crossover trail. Take a moment and look at that. 0.12 miles. Perfect. Ooh, nice little bridge here. As you can see, the Whitewater Rapids. By now, it probably goes without saying that this bridge, as well as this trail and these steps, they're all part of the CCC's ingenuity and vision. I talk about the CCC a lot. So how about a history lesson? Shortly after his inauguration in 1933, Franklin Delano Roosevelt proposed the Civilian Conservation Corps as a chapter of his New Deal plan. This plan was a series of public works projects, financial reforms, and regulations. This was all set in motion to rescue the U.S. from, you guessed it, the Great Depression. The CCC was just one of these factions. It was a voluntary work relief program that ran from 1933 to 1942 for unemployed, unmarried men ages 18 to 25, eventually expanding to ages 16 to 28. For their manual labor, such as this pavilion we're looking at now, the young recruits were paid $30 a month, 25 of which was sent back home to their families. The men received food, clothing, shelter, and medical care as government employees. Needless to say, it quickly became the most popular of all the New Deal programs. A man's enrollment led to improved physical conditioning, heightened morale, increased employability. And of course, as the biggest added bonus of this, the vision was to protect, conserve, and develop our nation's natural resources into locales for public enjoyment. They built national and state parks, bridges, roads, airfields, irrigation, drainage, flood control, dams, reforestation, lake and pond clearing, fish stocking. The list goes on and on. I think you get it. Enter Texas and its state park system, which had been struggling since its development in 1923. A partnership with the CCC was the icing on the cake, and it couldn't have come at a better time. There are 29 Texas state parks constructed by the CCC. Buescher is one of them. 29 parks, each one with its own unique and individual charm, made specifically for its own geographical location. Now, you may think I'm a dork for saying this, but come on people, how cool is that? I'm gonna go back down that trail and see what else I can find. Stick around. Apparently, I attracted a following today while talking about all this CCC stuff. You know, a following? People that watch my YouTube channel. I was so flattered, I decided to lead them to the amphitheater where I concluded my CCC speech. During its run, the most that were enrolled at any one given time were 300,000 volunteers. And during the entirety of the CCC, it is estimated that about 9 million young men served. Some notable celebrities include Walter Matthau and Robert Mitchum. That's the end of today's lesson. I appreciate all of you coming here. See you next time. I realized that having a steak while you're on a camping trip that's over 2 pounds is a little, I mean, let's just call it what it is, ridiculous. But I'm sorry, I got a problem. Can't help it. There it is, the meat extravaganza. There we go. See, from our beef extravaganza last night to this. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep, there you go, right there. That took me a whole, what, 5 minutes? That's what I'm talking about. back home, as usual. I appreciate you watching my Buescher State Park video. I hope you enjoyed it. We had a very relaxing time. Our next video coming out is going to be Blanco State Park, which is about 40 to 50 miles due north of San Antonio. So be on the lookout for that one. If you like this content, push that little thumbs up button. If you want to be notified when my content is uploaded onto YouTube, push the little bell button. And see you next time. Switchback Texan is out.